Fox News' Sean Hannity and Taylor Lorenz got into a heated back and forth as Lorenz has gone viral for her takes and support of the Luigi Mangione assassination of United Health CEO Brian Thompson. This is juicy as they then get into the justification of the assassination attempts on President Trump and the threats against Elon Musk. Also, Warren Buffett sat down for an exclusive interview on CBS and was pressed to give his thoughts about the Trump tariffs and how Elon Musk is operating the Department of Government Efficiency. His answers are interesting, as you're about to see. And finally, President Trump delivered remarks at the White House Easter prayer service and took a major and important stand for the truth, reality, and God. Check this out. I'm Zach Costello.
I signed an executive order making it official and the official policy of the United States that God created two genders, male and female. That's not too difficult. So there's so much to celebrate this Easter. This is really, I hope, going to be one of the great Easters ever, because we have something going that I don't think this country has seen in 100 years. And as we gather with family and friends, we'll not forget the true source of our joy and our strength. America has put our trust in God. It will always be in God we trust. We will never change that. You know, there's a movement to change it. It will not happen. We won't let that happen. Can you imagine a movement to change that? Robert, you're not happy about that when you hear that. Look at him. He's getting angrier and angrier. We can get angry too, can't we, huh? No, it's never going to change. And with God's help, we can overcome every challenge, triumph over every evil, and restore the spirit of faith in the United States for generations to come. We have a very simple slogan, make America great again, and that's exactly what we're doing. We're making America great again, and I like to add that I really believe greater than ever before.
American greatness and remaining one nation under God go hand in hand. Ronald Reagan said that if we fail to remain one nation under God, we will surely be a nation gone under. America cannot be great unless it remains a nation under God. You cannot be great unless your life remains aligned with God. This is not just fairy tale religious talk. What we are talking about when we say God, and people misunderstand this, even religious people, is the source of reality. The laws of physics prove there must have been a source that exists outside of our physical reality, outside of the laws of physics that created all of this. We are talking about the source of reality. We are talking about the truth, which is the actual way that things came about. When you tell the truth, you are talking aligned with reality, aligned with how things actually happened. Reality and truth are the same thing. Taking a stand that boys are boys and girls are girls is truth, aligned with natural law, aligned with reality, aligned with the source that is God. People who lie and believe lies end up in misery and chaos because they exist outside of reality. We see this unfolding as the progressive liberal ideology collapses on itself. When you remain aligned with reality in your speech and your values, it allows you to live and thrive. This is the case for individuals, organizations, institutions, and countries. This is a universal truth. And what is so very important about what President Trump is doing here is he is taking a stand and fighting to keep our nation aligned with reality so that it can live and thrive. If the movement against this, against keeping America one nation under God succeeds, we will surely be a nation gone under. This is what I am fighting for here, to keep America one nation under God. It's the purpose of my channel. All right, I know that's a bit longer of a riff that I normally give on these, but I don't think there's a more important topic for me. Next, Warren Buffett sat down for an exclusive interview on CBS and was pressed to give his thoughts on Trump tariffs and how Elon Musk is operating DOGE. I'm curious as to what you guys think of these answers. Check this out.
Can I just ask you a couple of questions about kind of how you see the state of the economy right now?
Well, I think that's the most interesting subject in the world, but I won't talk. I can't talk about it. No, I really can't.
How do you think tariffs will affect the economy?
I mean, tariffs are actually, we've had a lot of experience with them. They're an act of war to some degree.
How do you think tariffs will impact inflation?
Over time, they're a tax on goods. I mean, you know, the tooth fairy doesn't pay them. I mean, and see, you always have to just, and then what? You always have to ask that question in economics. Always say, and then what?
So is there an answer for that when people say, you know, inflation persists, consumer prices keep going up, when's the end in sight?
No, prices will be higher 10 years from now and 20 years from now and 30 years from now.
And what do you think about what's happening in Washington right now, about efforts to
I think
cut
it's Washington.
Yeah.
It's, you know, technology changes things, all kinds of things, but Washington is Washington. And the problem with politics is that you tend to have to make tiny compromises as you go along.
And what do you think about Elon Musk's efforts to cut?
Well, I better not get into that. Oh,
Do you talk to him at all?
I've talked to Elon a few times.
And any thoughts about his current efforts in Washington? No, no. You've always been bullish on American companies.
Majority of any money I manage will always be in the United States.
And why is that?
It's the best place.
So what I thought was interesting is that Buffett doesn't seem fazed by tariffs. Interesting, his perspective on them being an act of war. He also shuts down the fear-mongering on inflation that politicians love to use. Prices will always go up. And last thing I'll point out is he said the problem with politics is that you have to make tiny compromises as you go along. And he then says no comment as to how Elon is operating the Department of Government Efficiency. Yet he's spoken with him a couple times. I'm trying to read between the lines here, but it seems like Buffett thinks changes need to be made. And of course, he's bullish and has a good and healthy perspective, long-term perspective on America. Let me know what you guys think. Okay, finally, Sean Hannity and Taylor Lorenz got into a heated back and forth as Lorenz has gone viral for her takes and support of the Luigi Mangione assassination of United Health CEO Brian Thompson. This is juicy, as they then get into the justification of the assassination attempts on President Trump and the threats made against Elon Musk.
I've done this 29 years, Taylor. Answer the question. If you think it's okay and you celebrate assassination, are you lacking a conscience, a soul, and a heart?
I think once again you're conflating me explaining the ideology of the women that
you
show
are trying
outside.
to rationalize them. If you support assassination, answer, Taylor, answer the question. If you support assassination of innocent people, are you lacking a conscience, a soul, and a heart? Simple question. Go.
I believe that the assassination of innocent people, if we want to talk about the assassination of innocent people, I believe that the tens of thousands of Americans that die each year because of the lack of health insurance, that is, to me, a violence in itself. That is assassination. These health insurance.
I'm willing to have that discussion with you, but we can't have that discussion until you
can't
say
have the discussion when you're not willing to hear, Sean, what my beliefs are, and you continue to
condemn people that have been committing acts of. Do you condemn the people that tried to assassinate Donald Trump, or would it be a good thing in your mind? Or would you understand why people want to kill him, or understand why people want to kill Elon Musk? Do you understand them too? Are they handsome people too, smart people?
Well, so let me actually talk to you a little bit about that. So I cover violent extremism. I've witnessed violent extremism for many different factions, right, of the political system. If, for instance, somebody shows up and shoots an abortion provider dead, I want to understand their ideology. I'm a reporter. I want to understand their belief system, and I want to understand what led them there. Now, let me tell you something, because it's interesting you bring up the assassination of Donald Trump.
If you resort to violence and you kill innocent people, aren't you lacking a conscience, soul, and a heart? What's so hard?
Well,
Why won't you answer that question?
Well, once again, when you talk about souls, that's not really my specialty. But what I do specialize in is extremism.
Obviously.
We are at a time right now.
By the way, I would say that's obvious.
Okay, thank you. Well, we are at a time right now when we're witnessing actually one of the biggest memes on the internet right now is about assassinating Trump and Elon. These are posts with millions of likes that are advocating for the assassination of the president.
Simple question.
That is a sign of a very
condemn that?
unstable democracy.
Can you take a moral stand and condemn that?
What I condemn is the violence of our system, and I would love for you to acknowledge that. I
I'm
would
not
love
asking
for
you to condemn the
acknowledge
system. Taylor, do you condemn people that call for assassination?
Gosh, you're going to ask if I condemn Hamas next. This is crazy. I would love for you to acknowledge what I'm actually saying, Sean, and we seem to be talking past each other. I want to talk about the fact that half of all adults are delayed because of cost. We need to talk about that 70% of Americans, by the way, believe that the insurance company practices are responsible in part for Thompson's death. These are signs of an unhealthy...
You want to put a rationalization. I am saying anybody that wants to assassinate any innocent person is wrong. I don't care if it's a Democrat or Republican or a father or a husband, and I speak that is a simple truth that anyone with a heart would easily say on national TV that you're having a hard time with.
If you want to prevent further deaths and you don't want gun violence in the street, which I think we both are aligned in wanting, right? We want peace. We do not want violence in this country, no matter what side of the political aisle it's coming from. You need to understand motives and you need to understand the ideology that people have.
You guys see what Taylor Lorenz is arguing for here, don't you? She is arguing that the ends justify the means. She doesn't believe that United Health CEO Brian Thompson was an innocent person and is therefore alluding to the justification of his assassination. This is the same logic that Trump enemies use to justify the assassination attempts on his life. We cannot, and we never will, root out evil with evil. Only love can do that. I'm Zach Costello.